Hi, my name is Tuininga. I'm a species at risk biologist with the Canadian Wildlife Service out of Toronto. I've been working on Kirtland's Warbler for over 16 years, and I've been associated with the Canadian recovery team and also the international recovery team for that time. I started surveying for Kirtland's Warblers roughly in 2007, and we've done extensive surveying in northern Ontario, due north of Michigan, thinking that that's the most likely location where we would find Kirtland's warblers in Ontario. We currently have two populations of Kirtlands in Ontario. One is in Petawawa, which is in eastern Ontario, and the other more central in Simcoe County. So we did extensive surveying in northern Ontario. We did over 5,500 hours of acoustic recording unit recordings in that area, and we also did hundreds of hours of ground surveys searching for suitable habitat and also for the bird, Kirtland's warbler. The habitat looks very similar to southern Ontario and also to what you find in Michigan. But what we found is when we looked at some of the other characteristics of it, we found that it tended to be a bit cooler on average and also a bit wetter on average. And also we found that a lot of the other bird and tree plant species that are common with Kirtland's warbler in, say, Michigan or in say, Petawawa or Simcoe County, a lot of those species dropped out as we went further north into this northern habitat. And subsequent to finding that out, we also became aware of the Simcoe County population, and hence we refocused our efforts in 2016 to look at more central latitudes in Ontario. We've done extensive outreach across central Ontario. One of my colleagues who works for GEI Consultants, Savanta Division, has done most of the legwork on this, and we've been in contact with conservation authorities, different counties from all the way across central Ontario from west to east, and looking for opportunities to create habitat in Ontario, because in southern Ontario there's the pine oak ecosystem was essentially gone. So we knew that we would have to create habitat if we wanted to have more Kirtland's warblers in Ontario. We wanted to be consistent with our guidance that we have in our recovery strategy and in the action plan that have been drafted for the species in Canada. And so we knew that we wanted to create habitat for the species, and we've done that in cooperation with some very key partners. In 2017, restoration was started on two sites in Simcoe County, and we've done that in cooperation with Simcoe County, American Forests, and some others. And so the one site, our museum site, has essentially just over 50 hectares, and our second site, which is going on right now, is roughly about the same size. Restoration in Canada has had to be a little bit different than what's taken place in Michigan, in that we have to start from scratch. We essentially have no habitat that is suitable for restoration with existing jack pine. And so what we've had to do is we've had to go into sites that were extensively covered with things like Scots pine. So Simcoe County has, at both of our sites, they started by removing the Scots pine and then burning the site to kill the Scots pine stumps. All along throughout this period of doing the restoration, extensive seed collecting has been done. We have a habitat restoration expert that has been leading us in that, and so we've collected trees, shrubs, and a whole host of herbaceous species so that we can plant up our sites. So the sites were logged and were burned and then we did extensive tree planting, shrub planting, and herbaceous species planting. And what that means is our focus is Kirtland's Warbler. The Kirtland's Warbler is our flagship species, but we also were really looking at it as a multi-species ecosystem restoration, restoring the pine oak ecosystem that has largely disappeared from southern Ontario. And so there'll be extensive pollinator habitat found at our sites because of the herbaceous species that we plant, and then other bird species and insects, other insects, and just a wide variety of wildlife should be able to occupy our sites. So as I said, we have right now we have about just over 100 hectares of habitat. That's enough for our Kirtland's Warbler to comfortably nest in, and where we're working now sort of in a more of an outreach phase as well, reaching out to many more partners. Now our sort of our foundational partners were, as I said, in terms of our restoration, were Simcoe County and GI Consultants, Savanta Division, but also American Forests made some significant contribution, and some others contributed funding as well. But right now what we're looking at is a lot more outreach. We're looking for more partners, more opportunity to create more habitat in Ontario. And so we're looking at meeting with many partners to see what opportunities are there. And so we've been talking to Ontario Parks, Nature Conservancy of Canada, many land trusts, other counties, other conservation authorities. American Bird Conservancy we've had discussions with them and looking for advice and from them as well. And we're constantly keeping in touch with other experts from the US and Canada, and we're looking forward to creating more habitat for the species in Canada. We've made a lot of progress since our recovery strategy was drafted, but we have a long way to go. But we're looking forward to it. We're very optimistic about it, and we're feeling very positive about where the Kirtland's Warbler is in Canada, as we're much further along than where we were just a decade ago.